Well, Karina, what a couple of days it's been for Optus's chief executive, Kelly Bayer Rosmara, and those apologies really have been flowing thick and fast, and she's been sticking to those key messages mainly about apologising, but trying to explain what went on with very little information. But in the face of a lot of customer outrage about that outage on Wednesday, there have been calls for compensation. Yesterday on ABC News 24, Andrew McKellar from the Chamber of Commerce and Industry called the whole debacle a clown show. And we've also got a Senate inquiry about to kick off, and the federal government's going to have its own inquiry. But rather than compensation, Kelly Bayer Rosmara and Optus are now talking about providing 200 gigabytes of free data to postpaid customers, and if you're a prepaid customer, that would be unlimited data access at weekends. But maybe that's not going to be enough, because you've got other outfits like the small business lobby group COSBOA talking about potentially billions of dollars in compensation, which does sound to be a bit of an ambit claim. But Kelly Bayer Rosmara, I spoke with her briefly yesterday, and she said that rather than providing compensation, you're better off giving customers a few dollars, that extra data, rather than a few dollars for a single day.
Well, look, all I can say is that we understand and we're deeply sorry. We know how important it is for our customers to be connected, and that's why we've put in place this thank you for our customers, where we really want to give them something that they will value, that demonstrates how much we care, how sorry we are.
But is that a replacement for any compensation or refunds?
Peter, this impact was something we didn't want. We tried to go for something that was of much greater value than simply refunding people for one day of their service. We didn't think that that was enough.
So, Peter, just listening there, Kelly Bayer Rosmara seems to be under a lot of pressure. What are her chances of surviving as Optus chief executive?
Well, to be fair, Kelly Bayer Rosmara has been fronting up at interviews with people like me, as she did in that interview yesterday, but she is under a fair bit of pressure. When I was speaking with her briefly yesterday, I did ask whether she had the support of the Optus parent company, Singtel, based in Singapore. She said that she did. They're a good company to work for. But right at the end of the interview, before the end of the allocated interview time, I did ask whether or not she had felt as though she should step down or resign, and the interview was cut short, which shows that there must be a fair bit of pressure there, perhaps so many media interviews or requests, or dealing with those internal matters. But we do have a little bit of an update on what might have happened on Wednesday. They're now talking about a network upgrade that caused cascading problems within the network. They haven't been able to pin down exactly what went on, but they are investigating. But that needs to happen pretty quickly, because you've got customers, business customers of Optus, perhaps a little bit concerned and maybe thinking about switching, regular consumers thinking about switching. It does take customers a fair bit to dump a carrier that they've been loyal to, but clearly in the context of the cyber attack last year, this is two crises in the space of a year for Optus, so that's really loading up a lot of pressure.
And it's been another big week for the RBA, Peter, with another interest rate rise, and now we're expecting a statement on the health of the economy.
Yeah, look, after I speak with you here, Karina, I'm going to be heading down to the Reserve Bank headquarters at Martin Place in Sydney. The Reserve Bank has a lock-up for journalists and analysts looking at what's known as the quarterly statement on monetary policy. Basically what that is, that's an update on the Reserve Bank's forecasts on GDP growth, inflation, most importantly, unemployment, also important, and also wages growth. And all of this will feed into whether or not there's going to be a need for another interest rate rise. At the moment, we have had 13 rate rises since May last year. We had that main one on Tuesday. Whether or not we'll see one in December, the jury's out on that. Some economists think probably February is looking more likely. That's after we get the next quarterly inflation update. And of course, inflation being critical, because inflation now 5.4% needs to get back down into the Reserve Bank's target of 2 to 3%, so a long way away from that.